So in this video, I am going to explain primitive points and lines, which are very important while constructing the models in any software. So first, we should know that what are the points and lines which are used to construct the models. Let us see the one by one. So in computer aided design, that is CAD, primitive points and lines are fundamental elements used to create more complex shapes and objects. So these primitives serve as a building blocks for designing 2D and 3D models. So these primitive points and lines are essential for constructing more complex geometry in CAD software. CAD tools allow you to manipulate and combine these primitives to create intricate designs, whether in two-dimensional drafting or three-dimensional modeling. So here is an overview of primitive points and lines in CAD. Now let us see the first primitive points. So these points serve as a reference positions or endpoints for creating the lines, shapes and objects in CAD software. So primitive points in computer aided design are fundamental elements used to define precise locations in space. Now let us see that in detail. What is point? Point is the most basic primitive in CAD. It represents a single location in space, typically defined by its x, y and z coordinates in 3D CAD or just x and y coordinates in 2D CAD. So points have no dimension and are used as a reference markers. Dimensions are to specify the exact location of other geometric entities within a CAD model. Next, control points. So in certain CAD applications, especially in curve and surface modeling, that is example of Bezier curves or knob surfaces, control points are very essential, used to manipulate and define the shape of curves and surfaces. What are the key points? So in animation and character modeling, key points are used to define important poses or positions in an animation sequence. So these points are commonly used in CAD systems for specifying the location of objects within a grid or coordinate system. So they are essential for precise positioning and alignment. These are the grid points. So intersection points. So when two or more geometric entities, for example lines, curves or surfaces, intersect, the points or intersection are considered primitive points. They are crucial for defining relationships between different parts of a CAD model. So these endpoints are specific points that mark the start and end of line, segment or curve. So they are essential for specifying the extent of geometric entities. So corner points. In two-dimensional shapes like polygons, corner points are represent the sharp corners or vertices of the shape. They are crucial for defining the shape's boundary. Next, midpoint. So the midpoint of a line, segment or curve is a primitive point located exactly halfway between its endpoints. So curve evolution points. In CAD systems that use parametric curves, that is a Bezier or spline curves, multiple evolution points along the curve are considered primitive. Sampling points. So in the context of point clouds or 3D scanning, sampling points represent discrete data points that approximate the shape of a real world object. Next, we will see the primitive points related to CAD. In computer aided design, primitive lines typically refer to the basic and fundamental line elements used to construct more complex geometric shapes and structures. So these primitive lines serve as building blocks for creating drawing or model within CAD software. So here are some common types of primitive lines in CAD. One is a straight line segment. This is the most basic type of primitive line representing a straight path between two endpoints. Next, straight line segments are used to create the outline of shapes and define linear elements in CAD drawings. So infinite line. An infinite line extends identifying in both directions. It is defined by a point and a direction vector. So infinite line are often used to represent construction lines or reference lines in CAD drawings. Next, ray. Ray is similar to an infinite line but has a starting point and extends infinitely in one direction. Next, rays are often used for tasks like creating vectors or indicating the directions in CAD designs. Third one is a polyline. So a polyline is a series of connected line segments or straight line segments with different length and directions. It can be used to create complex shapes and paths consist of the lines and arcs. So polylines are commonly employed in CAD for drawing various features such as roads and electrical circuits, etc. So fourth one is the arc. An arc is a curved line segment that represents a portion of a circle or a more complex curve. So arcs are used for creating the curved shapes such as circles, arcs of circles and rounded corners in CAD drawings. The splines. So it is often used for creating free-form shapes and curves in CAD designs. Splines allow for greater design flexibility and precision. Next is the center line. So the center lines are typically used to indicate the center or axis of symmetry of a symmetrical object. They are often shown as a dashed or phantom lines in CAD drawings. So hidden lines are used in CAD drawings to represent edges or features that are not visible from a particular viewing angle. So they are typically shown as dashed or dotted lines to indicate that they are hidden behind other objects. So next, construction line. Construction lines are known as construction geometry or reference lines, are used as guidelines for drawing and aligning other objects. So they are often temporary and are not part of the final design but assist in its creation. So the 10th is the dimension and extension lines. These lines are used in dimensioning drawings to indicate the size and location of objects. So dimension lines typically have arrows at both ends and are accompanied by numerical values to specify measurements. So these primitive lines provide the basic framework for creating the detailed CAD drawings and models. So CAD software allows designers and engineers to manipulate and combine these lines to construct complex geometric shapes and accurately represent real world objects and structures. I hope everyone can understand what are the primitive points and lines. Thank you.